Welcome to the TAP Project Podcast, the place where gaming meets blockchain and everything in the middle. Now, here's your hosts, the TAP Bros.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Welcome back to another TAP Project podcast. My name is Hanif, and I'm one of your hosts.
And my name is Hugh, and I'm your other host. So last time, before we start, before we,
Oh,
we jump in,
yeah, getting right
before we
into
jumped in, no, not even before. So last time I asked for a catchphrase, and so I'm testing out a bunch. So this one, for this podcast, is brought to you by one of our members from the Telegram channel at Denario. Hopefully, I'm saying it right. Tap into blockchain gaming.
it. Ooh.
How'd you like that one? So let me know if you guys like that one. Did you like that one?
All right, let's try it again. Let's try it again.
Okay.
Good afternoon, good morning, and good night. My name is Hanif, and I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Hugh. Tap into blockchain gaming.
Oh, that has a pretty good sound to that. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll keep
yeah,
that for a bit.
Yeah, not too bad.
Well,
Not too
thank you
bad.
guys for tuning in to another Tap Project podcast where we talk about gaming and blockchain and everything in the middle. We are the Tap Bros, as some would call us, and we are your gaming specialists. No, I'm kidding. We are the co-founders of the Tap Project, and we're here to talk about, as we said, anything in the middle between blockchain and gaming, including the Tap Project and the Tap Coin and where that stands. But before we get into our banging show today, we got a pretty good episode today. But before we get into that, Hugh, drop us with a little disclaimer.
Yeah, just like always, a little disclaimer. We're just two co-founders, just chatting, just talking. This is not any type of financial advice, nor is this anything that you need to do. We always say, do your own research, look into it for yourself, make your own decision. We're just talking, we're just shooting the breeze, we're just rolling it off our heads. We're just whatever we think, whatever comes to our mind, whatever we've got going on. It's just us talking, a little bit of insight into what co-founders think, how they do things, how they chat. That's just us.
Yeah, and it's some people ask, why do you guys do a podcast or anything like that? But it's a great opportunity, as you said, for you guys to get some of the insights of what's going on in terms of with the Tap project and the Tap coin, and kind of get into some of our heads or some of our ideas or what we talk about on a daily basis with the team. So that's pretty much a reason why we do that, to give you guys the insight. But as I said, we do have a banging show today. And just so a little bit of the lineup, we're going to be talking about some new events in the blockchain, and I'll refer to kind of the gaming space that happened over the week with some FIFA player transfers, some new NFT updates with some real life sports, and getting into a little bit of a recap with the Tap project and the Tap coin and the Tap platform new update that's going to be hitting out in the next couple weeks. So yeah, we got a pretty tight show.
Yeah, no. So, do you want to lead with the Brazilian
Yeah,
soccer team one?
let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay, so
Because
let's roll.
I know we're
the-
both soccer players. So.
Yeah, so and this one was pretty exciting. It was pretty interesting. So the title is "Leading Brazilian Soccer Team to Tokenize FIFA Player Transfer Fee," and basically it's I don't even know how to describe it. It's taking players at the development stage and tokenizing their capabilities and their transfers. We all know in the lifespan of a soccer player, they get traded from one team to the next, and that's kind of their career. They get traded and they move up, and it's just allowing fans the opportunity to be a part of that and tokenize that.
And I think that's pretty cool. I think like some of these players are getting signed at like, on some ages. I know back in the day where they were, but I'm not too sure about now. But some of them are getting signed at like 14 to 15 to 16 years old, not eligible to play until they're obviously 18, 19, or 20, 21, depending on the league that they're going to play in. But this, if I'm understanding correctly, Hugh, you can correct me if I'm wrong, would provide the opportunity for, let's say I know a really good player and he's 14 years old, and I'm going to say, I'll tokenize his contract whenever he gets a contract. He gets signed with a big team, but he's not eligible to be able, play. Obviously, I'm gonna, be able to buy in on his contract. So wherever he kind of goes throughout his career, if he gets traded a bunch of times, I can reap from that. Is that kind of what the sense is?
it's just, it's having the ability to tie in and just follow the players that you love, and that you've followed from day one, the beginning of their career. It's that opportunity to follow and really support the player from the beginning of the career, and also being able to tokenize their different moves, their changes, their transfers, and just kind of putting a bit of skin into the game, putting you a bit closer to the action, a little bit closer to the player. If they get transferred for there's a higher transfer fee to a bigger team. Everybody's excited, but now you're even more excited because you've got a tokenization opportunity in that contract for yourself. So that was really interesting to see how they're using it and how they're tying tokenization into like the physical sporting world.
Hmm. That is pretty good. I guess that obviously gets into one of our things that we've discussed internally quite heavily. I don't think we've put it on the podcast as yet. Maybe we won't just yet. We'll leave that one for a surprise. But that gets into very closely into our realms of what we've been thinking about in terms of that is kind of bringing that tokenization into the physical, especially with sports, which is really cool to see. Obviously, there might be some things that people will have to discuss. You'll obviously need a heavy partnership, heavy buy-in from the players. I'd assume you can't just randomly tokenize somebody's well, you could potentially, and that might lead into a little bit of what we might talk about next. And I don't know if you want to get into that as yet, but that might be a good segue.
Yeah, what are we segueing into? I missed the
So
seg. I missed the bus. I missed the bus.
the segue into obviously there might be some potential buy-in that you need from the players
Mm,
to be able to tokenize their contract.
mhm.
Because I was thinking a little bit forefront, saying, yeah, we maybe Ronaldo wouldn't want you to just be able to tokenize his contract and make money off of it.
Yeah.
However, we are seeing kind of the little bit a different approach with kind of the sports fans and fractional NFT new update for the real life sports statistics that came out as well.
Yeah, and this is another sort of another piece, another fraction of just tying, the support that people have for players and teams, and sort of the love that they have, and the diehard fan approach, and being able to have fractional pieces of their success, right? It's one thing to watch your player, as his skills increase, his stats increase, his ability on whatever sporting platform he's on, or whatever sport he's playing, his value increase. And it's another thing to be able to just tie into that value for yourself, so that as he's doing good, you're doing good. And so this article, it was called "Sports Fans Can Trade Fractional NFTs Based on Real Life Sports Statistics." So once again, sort of a different approach, but the same approach. Like I mentioned before, it's tying fans in with their players. And like you mentioned, I don't think we've mentioned it, but it ties into a lot of the discussions you and I have into where could this potentially go.
Yeah, it's pretty big if you think about where this potentially could go. As you mentioned before, we have discussed this, and maybe one day we'll feel open to discussing this a little bit externally, just because it might tie in a little bit to what we're doing with our partnerships and stuff like that right now.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
obviously, we don't want to discuss that too out front, but um, it's a pretty good concept, and it's a little bit different from the other one where my feeling is that you need a lot of buy-in from the player, and you need a
Hmm.
lot of support from the player to be able to tokenize their contract. But this is actually tokenizing in some way their sports statistics. So, if you were to talk about soccer, since we just read the last soccer article, we could talk about football, basketball, anything.
Hmm.
But if you were to just talk about soccer, this is potentially providing the opportunity to tokenize or to trade somebody's stats in game to be able to monetize that and obviously benefit. So if you know that the player gets two goals a game type of thing, you could potentially base their statistics into an NFT and trade that.
Yeah, and
Because
it's
it's more
interesting.
valuable because they're getting two goals a game, so that's a consistent increase in value, or the consistent increase that they might become MVP or Golden Boot of the year or whatever it is.
Yeah, and it's tying into the big NFT push that's happening in the blockchain space, and it's trying to build it and flourish that ecosystem. Like you said, it's the more the valuable the stats, the more the players doing, the more there's buying, the more it's worth, the more it goes up, right? So. Fractionalizing that and just tying that into statistics is one definite avenue that I can see. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I know we've discussed discussed a similar type of venture with one of our partners, and it does delve into the gaming world. And
Hmm.
obviously, this is definitely getting closer, but there are ways that you can tokenize and you can build NFTs off of these statistics, and it's super cool to kind of see where this space is going on, obviously the sport side, because we don't really have too much of an involvement in terms of baseball, soccer, in terms of like actual the physical sports. But it's great to see. We're obviously on the gaming side, but it's great to see these take flight. And the hope is that um, more sports teams, more players, more leagues, those who are kind of blockchain enthusiasts, or interested in seeing what it'll do, kind of take hold of this and kind of learn and see where this can grow, and where it can at least provide some sort of fan experience. Because I know, especially in this day and age, when stadiums aren't as packed, and I don't know when stadiums are going to be packed again to the level and to the extent that they will be. Like Old Trafford, it holds, I think it's like 80,000 people or something like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know when you're going to be able to cram 80,000 people into a stadium. Maybe, next few years, of course, when vaccines and stuff go out. But for the time right now, a lot of the focus is on fan engagement, how to keep fan engaged at home, how to, keep them engaged at elsewhere. So building some sort of buy-in from them to be able to watch their player and still have that enjoyment, is huge. And I think a lot of companies and blockchains and even non-blockchain are looking for that experience.
Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting when you talk to some people. Some people couldn't even, tell you their spouse's birthdays, but they could rattle off stats for, for LeBron, or rattle off stats for Ronaldo, right?
I
So
guess
it.
if they couldn't tell their spouse's birthday, it would be their ex-spouse at that point.
Oh, as long as they do, just buy flowers every other weekend and
Right?
pray that you get it right. You got to get it right once, right? But it's just interesting because it's opening up the market. It's opening up different possibilities with data, and how it's used and where it's used, and it's just adding that decentralized spin, sort of that. Supply demand feel to it, right? If you're able to use that and understand it, then it's something that just adds you closer to the scene, and just makes your life a little bit more interesting.
What would be interesting is, this might be kind of the simpler realm, and I have no issues talking about this because it's not anything that we're working on. But wouldn't it be kind of cool to be able
For
to, like,
now.
for now, that's true. Wouldn't it's kind of like, let's say, and this could be totally, and now I'm just thinking about it, but tokenizing or building some sort of NFT off of like their statistics, but not in the way that you're um benefiting from the actual like player game data, but you're benefiting from like game events. For example, let's say we're talking about basketball now,
Hmm.
and you know, every time LeBron scores, for example, a token is generated,
I'm
an
listening. I'm listening.
NFT, an
Yeah.
NFT is generated. And let's say LeBron then scored his 10,000th basket. And that was like his, you know, pinnacle, of career or something, or he scored
Yeah.
80 points one game. And to be able to like be like that gets tokenized automatically based on the data, but then be able to grab that and be like, oh, I have LeBron's 10,000
Ooh,
basketball score or whatever, right? Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
interesting. That would be cool. That would be really cool because then you've not only have you gotten the moment that you watched, you've gotten the moment written, on the blockchain that you can show, right? Like how many of us wish that we had something to show when we were there when MJ drained
Yeah,
that right?
yeah.
Like that.
That one in Cleveland, the
Step into my office
famous one in
after
Cleveland.
this one. Step into my office.
But no, that would be pretty cool, and it's something that you can build, in automatic that would kind of generate based on the data that's coming out from the game. But it's just like when a basketball player, I know you see it a lot in football. You see it a lot in hockey. I don't see it so much in basketball because they tend to use the same ball, but they don't
Mhm.
rotate the ball occasionally. But whenever it's like let's say it's hockey, for those non-Canadians, we do watch hockey. um, but let's say it's hockey and they scored 100 goals. They pick up that puck,
Yeah.
right? They grab that puck and someone, they throw it to the trainer. The trainer ties it around and writes the name and writes what happened on it, right? Imagine being able to build that on the blockchain as well. So that 100 goal happens, that player picks up the puck, and you are now not equivalent to the player because you can't play and score. But
Mhm.
if you were the person that was able to grab that at that moment, like kind of not like a lottery system, but like a draw system, like
Yeah. Yeah.
you got on as quick, right? To be able to grab that, that'd be super cool to be able to hold that, Wayne Gretzky's 100th goal or something. That's value right
That
there.
is that is value, right? You've got the proof to show that you were there, and it's valuable because it's with NFTs. We all know they're limited, right? So it's
Mm,
not like these unlimited, uh, tokens floating around. You've got this limited edition stat of what happened. Like you said, it's that 100 goal. It's that triple, that triple double, that 1,000th basket, that 10,000 assists, whatever it is, it's written on the block, it's yours, it's limited. And because it's tied to the player, the more the player does and the more value the player has and potential the player fulfills, the more valuable that NFT becomes.
yes, definitely. And it only will grow. And it's interesting that it will grow at the same time. So yeah, there will always be, as he continues to score baskets, there will be more created. But that 10,000th one is going to be more valuable than the 10,001. And
Hey,
then, you know what I mean?
yeah. Hey, you know where what our email address is. You know where to find us. Hit us up. All ideas are sole ideas of the Tap Project, the Tap Burrows. Any right? Throw a disclaimer. No, but that definitely. It's exactly what you said. It's that idea, that concept around it. It's definitely a way to look at it, and it's an interesting way to look at it for sure.
Hmm. Very cool. Well, as you said, us where if you guys want to speak to us about that, anyone listening, a huge sports
Hey.
fan or anyone, I don't know who was creating these in terms of their platforms, but if you guys want to chat, you know where to find us and talk more about it. So let's get moving on to our tap platform recap. We spent the last what maybe about 2-3 podcast episodes kind of getting into a little bit about the new platform updates, what it's going to do, what it means to the users, and kind of where things are going to be going next. So for those of you who obviously haven't seen those episodes, I'm going to be linking them down in the description below. So be sure to click, and like and subscribe, obviously, as this drops in on YouTube. But you'll be able to find that material and the podcast episodes there. But to provide a little bit of a recap, we are coming down into the last few weeks before the Tab platform launch. Super exciting.
Yeah, for sure. From a dev standpoint, we've been busy. Just testing the last bit. It's just been testing and just tweaking and making adjustments and changes and improvements, and then more testing, and we're going to keep testing until launch. But we're super close. super excited. This is new. This is exciting. This is something different. But it's still the same tap, platform, still the same TTT, still the same gaming, still the same excitement. But we're making things easier, interesting, and just growing the platform and the ecosystem just that much more to where we are happy that everybody will be able to happily use the platform and interact from people just getting in and the OGs of the blockchain world.
So why not let's start with a little bit of some of the basics of what the tap platform is going to have, what users are going to be able to do, and kind of what that means. So to get started with that, we have the tap platform kind of loot farming, as we call it. Everyone knows what loot farming is if you're a gamer in terms of like an RPG game, an MMO game. You loot farm for a specific item, or you loot farm for specific sets of items constantly, daily, 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 to try and get your rolls or try and get your equipment or whatever it might be. But we just, added a bit of our spin, changed it a little bit about what, the current DeFi space was doing with farming, and kind of added a gaming spin onto that. And so users will be able to loot farm, which will allow them to get to use their UniV2 LP tokens that they receive from Uniswap. And right now we are still plugged in with Uniswap, and we are going to be using Uniswap for the V2 tokens until we obviously change. But right now Uniswap is still doing pretty good in terms of the debt space for that. So users will be able to use their UniV2 LP tokens for 4 pools. And right now we have obviously the main and the hottest pool, the TTT.
Hot, right off the press.
The TTT WETH pool, which is our hottest pool, which will grant the most reward in terms of TTT and DAGA being received for the user. We have the Engine WETH pool, one of our other competitors, and we have the Decentraland Mana pool. And right now we're tentative about the other one, but HXRO for now, until obviously there are other pools. Some of the cool things about these pools, and then you can discuss a little bit more, Hugh. But some of these cool things are, you might be wondering, how come you're listing Engine? How come you've listed Mana? We really want to provide this opportunity to build a collaborative approach here, especially with the gaming and blockchain gaming world. We did find in the traditional gaming market, a lot of companies end up working together. Whether it's Microsoft or Sony, they're working together behind the scenes, on system launches, on system pricing. They work together, obviously, for a long term goal for the gaming ecosystem. Right now, we are seeing some collaborative and partnership approaches with the blockchain community and gaming communities. But prior to that, we did feel that a lot of the companies and a lot of the projects were siloed and kind of focusing on their own thing, because of the fact that they had their own coin, and their coin to them meant value. And if they pushed their coin, for their user, that meant their coin and their was more valuable. So it's not to say that we don't care about the coin in our ecosystem. We do, because the tap coin is necessary to obviously facilitate a lot of this transactions on the platform. But what we want to do is build a collaborative approach. We're all gamers, and obviously with the tap project and tap platform, our goal is disruption. We want the gaming industry to be changed for the better. And so we thought that this would be a good step in providing other communities to join in into our gaming platform as well.
Yeah, I think it's one of the spaces that definitely could use improvement, and I think it's such a large enough space that everybody could coexist nicely. I don't think anybody needs to be left out or locked out, and that's sort of our approach. Is everybody can coexist in gaming. This is a gaming space. It's one of the collaborative spaces that when done right and when incorporating others fuel innovation, right? And so that's our approach to this, and that's our approach to say opening this up to the other projects and tying them in and having them work in off our platform, and having tap exist as well, and TTT, and so that's sort of our thinking.
Yeah, and that's why we did obviously want to incorporate them. But that being said, we did say that the TTT ETH pool or TTT WETH pool was one of the hottest pools out there. So we will be providing, I believe it's about 7.5 million TTT within the first 2 weeks of our launch of our new update to those who deposit their UniV2 to LP tokens. And that will approximately be about 5 times better than any of the other pools. So yes, if you are a engine member or mana member and you have V2 tokens and you want to get and dip your feet into the tap ecosystem, you can deposit your V2 tokens there, receive TTT. If you're already involved in the TTT ecosystem and you have contributed to the Uniswap rewards program, and you have these V2 tokens, you can deposit them and continue to earn. And as I said, this is at a rate approximately about 5 times the rate of other pools. And one of the cool things as well in doing that, you'll be able to receive Dega tokens. And I know we discussed Dega on one of our other podcasts, but Hugh, just give us a little bit of a quick recap of Dega tokens.
Yeah, so Dega tokens is the tap gas tokens that allow you. We've been there, we've seen it. The gas prices have gone up again. Oh, here we go again, right? And we all sit back and pay the $50 fee to send $1 worth of ETH or tap or whatever it is. But what we've done is for the community, we've listened, we've seen, we've read, we've done our research. We've allowed the capability to when gas prices are at its lowest to build up a little storage of Dega, and that Dega goes towards when gas prices increase, you could use that to reduce. And we're talking reductions of 30+%. Anything that we can do to make it easy for gamers, non-gamers, for tap holders and users and community, that's what we want to do. And so that's what it does basically in a nutshell. It helps you reduce gas costs by allowing you to store up when times are good and prices are at its lowest, and use when times are not so great and prices are a little bit higher than we want it to be.
That's a very good explanation for Dega, and we do open this up to other projects as well. So those who do want to incorporate Dega into their platform or Dega into their systems, we are open for chat, and that's essentially how we created Dega that can be used on multiple platforms. So we get into the staking and what the staking is, and I'll go over a little bit about that. And the staking is quite simple but complex and kind of cool. I haven't seen it in terms of on many platforms and many, especially gaming platforms, but this allows users to stake their TTT in order to receive what we're internally calling right now, and we might not change it, but calling Tapcoin X or TapX or TTTX.
Yeah,
And
TTTX.
this allows users to receive a proportional percentage of the tap fees or the fees that are on the platform in Tapcoins. So quite simply, the detailed percentage is 0.35% is taken from all transactions on the platform. And quite simply, users who stake will be able to benefit from that. So they'll be able to receive fees in the form of tap coins when they withdraw that. So that's a really cool way of for those users to say, I have tap coins or I'm really interested in the tap coin itself, but I'm just not a gamer. I just don't play games. I just don't play mobile. I just don't play, some of the Steam games that you guys have put on there. I'm just not a gamer. I'm a blockchain enthusiast. That's all I know. This is a great way for you to get some skin in the game to say, or just, be a part of the ecosystem, be a part of the whole thing. If you think the Tap project, or if you think the Tap coin is doing something good for the gaming industry, this is your way to essentially get in or be able to stake your coins or make some use of the coins that you're holding in your wallet as well.
Yeah, it gives everybody an opportunity to be a part of the excitement, to be a part of the success, to be a part of the hype, to be a part of the increase of growth. Everybody gets a chance to be a part of Tap.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that you're saying, this is just another step that we are providing things back to those users and providing more of um, an organic system that we want to run itself. As we've always discussed, we are only the ones kind of driving the car, but we really want you guys to be right in the passenger seat, looking out the front window, calling, calling pedestrians crossing the road and make sure nobody gets hit. But we want you guys to be right there. So this is just another way to make this as organic and as free flowing and kind of as a self-running organism. As the platform's getting use, users who stake are benefiting from that as well. So those are some of the big key points that are coming down. I know this podcast is coming close to an end here, and we're wrapping up. But those are some of the big ones that we are expecting in the next 2 weeks. And if you missed it, there were farming, staking, Dega tokens, and more.
Oh, do we save this for next one then?
We might have to save it for the next one. Next one, we'll talk about kind of the burn contract as that's
Yes.
kind of incorporated into the next. So we'll leave that for the next one as well. But again, guys, we are super excited for this next update. We've been working hard on obviously getting the development out there, and we are working hard on looking at different marketing plans. And I know some members in the community were interested in that as well. But we are working on looking for those partnerships, looking for those teams who are willing to work with us, obviously, and looking for those teams who are willing to believe in what we are creating here and what we are adding to our creation. We do really believe that, and obviously this is kind of the disclaimer that Hugh mentioned at the very beginning of the show, but we really do believe that this does has potential to be something really cool in the industry. And even if it itself does not succeed, we do know that some of the fundamental ideas from the TAP project and the TAP platform can be used on any other project as well. So we're super excited about that.
Yeah, definitely. It's I think and during our usual chats with the team and different people from projects and so forth, the belief is that we're on the cusp of something big here, something like you said, disruptive to the gaming community, to the gaming industry. And so we're always going to push that. We're always going to push that. Every chance we get, we're going to push the envelope as close as we can, as hard as we can, because we believe that we're there, we're driving, and we always want to be there and be at the forefront, pushing that.
Yeah, that is a great way to recap that, and that's where we'll end the show for today. So thank you guys for tuning in to another Tap Project podcast episode. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow us on all socials at tap_coin and tap coin, I think it is as well. Join our Telegram community to jump in and chat. We are always looking for new members to chat to and talk more about Tap because that's what we like to do. Hit us with the outro.
Fueled by gamers, inspired by the community, disruptive to all.
Awesome. And you guys have a good night.